Hello, my name is Sumi McCarty. I am a grounds worker at the Arboretum in Lexington, Kentucky, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a holiday door swag. Let's see what's inside your kit. Here, you'll have some Norway spruce, southern magnolia, white pine, boxwoods, and yellow arborvitae. You probably won't have all 5 evergreens, but you will have at least 3 to 4. Also including your kit are these accents, which include your hollies, winterberries, and pine cones, which we both have white pine cones and Norway spruce pine cones. Also in the kit, there will be some wire. What's not included in your kit is something to cut your wires. Here, I'll be using hand pruners. All right, let's get started on the base here. What I like to do kind of to make it a little bit easier for when you gotta tie it up is I like to go ahead and roll out my wire here. And I like to take maybe about probably like my arm's length here, maybe like 2-ish feet, so you have enough wire to be able to tie everything together. And after that, I'll cut it here. And then I'll lay it flat here on the table, both ends out. So in your kit, you'll get a plethora of different kinds of evergreen branches, but for now, I'm going to be using Norway spruce as my base. And you're going to be making like a double swag, so you have like 2 ends. Usually what I like to do is I like to have a bit of a longer end, so I'll put the longer end at the bottom here, and then a shorter end at the top here. And if you want, you can kind of clean it off too to make it a little bit easier to manage and whatnot, is what I like to do. So I would lay that on top of the wire here, kind of in the middle right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and already take my wire, twist it around, and go ahead and try to secure it. And then go back under, twist some more, and then lay it back flat out like this. Now that I got my base established, I like to keep the top here a lot smaller, but I like to have a bit of a fuller bottom here. So if you still have some more Norway spruce or whatever you're using, I'm going to take some more Norway spruce here. I might cut it up just a little bit to make it a bit easier to manage. And then I'm going to stick one end right here. Take another, clean up just a little bit, and then take it on the opposite side here. And yeah, that looks pretty good. I think I'm happy with that. Let's go ahead and tie it up here. And now we're going to try to do a little bit of layering. I think I will start with maybe the magnolia here, the southern magnolia. And this is kind of big, so I'm going to try to cut a little bit off here. And then I think I'll stick one right here. And then another up here. I'll go ahead and try to cut some off here to give me some room for more layering. All right, I think I'm happy with that. So I'm going to take my wire again, and I'm going to try to weave it through here and try to secure the magnolias onto the base here. I'll twist it. Try to secure, try to twist as tight as you can, because over time the evergreens are going to lose moisture, so they're going to shrink. So you want to try to get as tight as possible so it doesn't become loose and then, fall apart. And you don't want that happening, right? So I still have some wire left. I'm going to do another layer here. Let's go with maybe this yellow arborvitae here. Yeah, I'll go with those. Stick one. Gonna clean it up a little bit, make it easier to manage. I'll try to lay one on top of here. And then I think I'm okay with that. Just that one arborvitae right there at the bottom. And then I'm going to take my wire and try to twist and tie it up to secure it. Remember, as tight as you can. Don't want any loose branches coming out. All right, well, there you have it. I got the base and layering done. Let's go ahead and move on to the accents. I'm going to take this boxwood here, and I'm going to try to probably make like a natural bow out of this, including using, let's see, how about these holly berries leaves? These boxwoods I'm going to use to make the ribbon part of it, the two little ribbons. So I'm going to bunch these together, and I'm going to cut some wire, and I'm going to try to twist them together. As so. Try to twist as tight as you can, because over time it's going to shrink, and you don't want it to become too loose to the point where it will fall out. All right, I think I'm satisfied with that. Let's take these holly berries and leaves and kind of place them up at the top here to make it kind of look like the bunny ears. And then once I have it kind of where I want it, I'm going to try to tie the wire around it and secure it somewhat in place. And then if you can still kind of move around, you can try to situate it how you want it. And it looks like I have a little bit of excess of the branch and stem, so I'm going to cut that off right here. And if it still feels somewhat loose, you can go ahead and cut some more wire and try to tie it a little bit tighter as well. And I'm going to just try to tie this all the way around. And there you have it, kind of like a little bow. I think I like it. I think it looks nice. And then I'm going to place that here, kind of in the center of the swag. And I'm going to cut some more wire here and attach it on. All right. I think that looks good. Now that I attached my natural bow on there, I'm going to add a little bit more accents to it. And what I'll be using are the white pine cones. Here I have one that's a little too big. So what I'm going to do to make it smaller is I'm going to kind of cut it down here. Get in between the scales here. Try to cut off as such. And there you go. That's a little bit smaller. A little bit more easier to manage, I would say. And I think I will use 2 more. I went ahead and already cut these ahead of time. And to attach these, you're going to need some more wire here. I will probably cut about maybe, let's see, maybe 5 to 8 inches long. And what I'm going to try to create is like an artificial stem on it. And how I'm going to hook this around is I'm going to go in between the scales here. And I'm going to try to tie it underneath the scales and then kind of twist tie it here. And then as such, I left some of the wire out, so I'll be using this wire to attach it onto the swag here, which will look kind of like this. All right. There we go. I got one attached. And you'll do the same with the rest of your cones here. All right. I think I'm quite satisfied with that. Well, there you have it. My finished swag. Well, however, we still have to do one more thing. If this is going to go on your door, we need to create a loop on it so it's able to hang on the door. So this will be the last thing I'm going to show you to do. I'm going to cut some more wire. I'd cut probably about... I say that's like 1.5 feet long. I believe that'll be long enough. And what I'm going to do is, if you want to hook it maybe to the base of it, that's fine. I'm going to actually try to create a loop kind of towards the top of it here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both ends and feed it into the swag here at the top here. Twist it a little bit. And then come back through, twist at the top here. And then on the bottom here, I'm going to flip it over. And hopefully you still have some wire left at the end here. And I'm going to create kind of like a circle like this. And then I'm going to twist it up at the top here. And if you still have some excess wire left, you can kind of feed it into this loop here on both sides. As such. And I got plenty on this side as well. I think that's enough. I still have a little bit excess right here. I'm just going to take my pruners and just cut that little bit off and then finish tying it in. And there you have it. Something you can hook onto your door here. Now, alternatively, you can also use this as a centerpiece at like your dining room table. But the best area to actually keep this is actually outdoors because it'll be cooler, hopefully. And depending on the weather and whatnot, it could last anywhere between 3 to 8 weeks. And indoors, it might last maybe a week-ish, depending. If you want your door swag to last a little longer, or your centerpiece, what you can do is go to your local box store and also online to purchase a reef preservative spray. My name is Sumi McCarty, and thank you so much for purchasing the holiday door swag and supporting the Arboretum and our mission. I'm now going to hand it over to Jesse Dahl, and he's going to give you a virtual tour of the grounds of the Arboretum and show you where you can find these evergreens and plants.
We are here in front of the quintessential Christmas tree. This is the balsam fir. Balsam fir, if you go to the store right now to buy a Christmas tree, what most people think of is a balsam fir. They are lovely trees, don't grow real well here in Kentucky, so it's hard to grow. Most of your Christmas trees you'll get from North Carolina or somewhere in there where they grow better. One of the cool things about firs is you will never or almost never find a fir cone on the ground. So if you find a cone on the ground, it didn't come from a fir. Ferns have disintegrating cones. So once they're mature, the cones up at the top of the tree, they'll just fall apart. And when they do that, all the seeds will spread. So you'll find spruce cones, pine cones, all sorts of kind of cones, but you'll almost never find a fir cone because their cones fall apart once they're mature. We're on to our second tree of the tour. This is the white pine, the eastern white pine. There's two different ones native to the United States, the western white pine and the eastern white pine. This one, both white pines have been logged tremendously and used tremendously for lumber, furniture, flooring. I have an old home, the floor's out of pine, so it's been used a lot for building our homes and building ships, building all sorts of things. They're beautiful trees. You'll see them planted all over. They don't do super well here in the bluegrass. They have a lot of problems, especially with phytophthora. If you have one that's yellowing or dying inexplicably, it's probably phytophthora. They are, one of the cool things about them is they're really soft needles, so they don't hurt like a lot of the harder pines, like Austrian pine. Also, they are one of those that have their needles in groups of 5. So if you look really close up, you'll see that there's little bunches. In each one of those bunches, there's 5. Some of the pines have 2, some have 3. White pines, the eastern white pine has 5 in each one of those bunches. All right, here we are in front of some American holly. American holly really is a cool plant. You'll find it in the understories in the forest. It's really interesting when you find it. You'll just be walking through the woods, and all of a sudden there's an evergreen plant out there all by itself, and walk up and it's holly. Hollies have those really pointy little edges on their leaves. Can make it kind of hard to prune, but they're amazing little reminders of the holiday season. You'll see them a lot in wreaths and garland and all sorts of things. One of the cool things about these is if you look at these, if you've been here in the past, these used to be 10, 12 foot tall. I'd have to shear them. And it was getting way too dangerous and way too much time. So we actually shortened these. And if you were here before, there was like 1 foot tall stubs where we cut the trees off literally at 1 foot tall, and we're able to rejuvenate those. You look out now, and it's a nice 4 to 5 foot nice hedge, something we can maintain, something that you can do. And there are quite a few types of trees that you can rejuvenate. You have to be careful because not all you can. But this is a way you can take older, kind of overgrown plants and bring them back to something more manageable. Okay, we're here in front of our last evergreen of the tour. This is the Norway spruce. It's one of our most reliable growers. If you look around town, you'll find these all over. This is also a common Christmas tree. If you look around in the yards, you'll see quite a few Norway spruce. One of the kind of iconic or identifying characteristics of this are these weeping branches. You'll see these little long pendulous, kind of like icicles hanging down from the tree. This tells you pretty closely that it's going to be a Norway spruce. That and its popularity, it's easy to grow in large swaths of the whole United States. It came here originally in the 18th century. It moved from there, came here from England, where it was planted in the 17th century, and originally is from the Scandinavian region, clear down into Italy and parts of Europe. But it is a tough tree. It's adapted to a lot of different areas and a lot of different soil types, and especially it could take our clay soils that we have here in the bluegrass. Very few problems. It can get some fungal diseases on the needles, but often, especially when it's kind of planted by itself, it has very few problems. It's just an amazing tree. Okay, thanks for being a part of this lesson and this tour. We greatly miss you. Hope you're able to get outside, bundle up, go outside, have some fun, make some snowballs, hit your coworkers with them, and all of those things, and have a great holiday season.